Hi everybody. Well, it's the end of the month of November, and I thought since November is the month when we vote, we ought to have a story about how the vote came to be for women. It was 100 years this year that we celebrated women's right to vote. And there was a stamp made even to celebrate that. Did you see it? This is the stamp that was made. And it's hard to see, but they were commemorating these very bright sashes that the women wore when they marched in Washington to get the right to vote. Our book is called Miss Paul and the President. It's by Dean Robbins and illustrated by Nancy Zhang. Alice Paul hurried up and down Pennsylvania Avenue in a purple hat. She wanted to make everything perfect for her parade, a parade no one in Washington, D.C. would ever forget. And you see her there? Alice double-checked the 26 floats and the 10 bands and the dozens of dancers. She took her place with 8,000 other women. They wore colorful sashes and wore brightly painted sashes. You see, there are those sashes that they put on the stamp. And they carried signs like, Mr. President, we need support. Let women vote in the 1914 election. You saw a lot of people probably on television marching this year for equal rights. Black Lives Matter. Well, this was like that only 100 years ago. Alice held on to her hat so it wouldn't blow off in the wind. She led the women up Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House. People lined the sidewalks to see the hullabaloo. Some of them cheered, but many jeered. No to votes for women, they jeered. Alice expected the jeers. Women couldn't vote in the United States, and most Americans didn't think they could, or rather that they should. But she hoped her parade would help to change minds. You see, she has a very positive attitude there. Meanwhile, a mile away, Woodrow Wilson was riding a train into Washington, D.C. The new president of the United States adjusted his spectacles. His daughter, Margaret, straightened his top hat. Thousands of people will be here to meet you, she said. You should look your best. So President Wilson was looking his best when he stepped off the train. And there you see him with his daughter behind him. He stepped off the train and waved. But no one waved back. The station was almost empty. The whole city had gone to see Alice Paul's parade instead. Look, in the newspaper it says, Alice Paul. Turns out crowd. Ignores new president. Oh, that wasn't very good. Not for Woodrow Wilson. But he wondered, who was the determined young woman in the purple hat? Alice Paul grew up on a farm. She liked to make mischief right alongside the boys in her town. They snuck candy and chased chickens. You see them there? They threw mud balls. She liked to have fun. Every 2 years, Alice watched her father go off to vote. Her mother had to stay at home. Why should it be that way? Alice read about her country's laws. The Constitution promised that people could elect their own leaders, but it also said that only men could vote. Weren't women people too? Shouldn't they be able to vote as citizens? There you see Dad going off to vote, Mother staying home with Alice at her side, wondering, shouldn't they be able to vote as citizens of the United States of America? Alice found books on women's suffrage. She learned that suffrage meant the right to vote. Suffragists wanted to change the Constitution so women could help elect their own leaders just as men did. They needed to convince the president and Congress. But the politicians in Washington wouldn't listen. Oh, Alice had lots of ideas for making them listen. When she was old enough, she joined the other suffragists who demanded the right to vote. She impressed these women with her big parade on Pennsylvania Avenue. She impressed them even more when she set up a meeting with President Woodrow Wilson himself. And look, here she is as a very young woman, practicing making speeches and trying to persuade other women to join her. And they certainly did. President Wilson wanted to see the woman who had caused the hullabaloo. He thought she might apologize to him. After all, she had stolen the spotlight on his first day in Washington, D.C. Alice did not plan to apologize. She sat down in the president's office and looked him right in the eye. Mr. President, we need your support for the woman's vote. The president did not expect so bold a question from this small woman in a purple hat. Miss Paul, the time is not right. I have many more important problems to worry about. Oh, the time is not right. How many people who have been seeking their rights have heard that phrase over the years? Not the right time to end slavery, not the right time for women to vote, and so on. Well, she had many other surprises in store for President Wilson, but we're going to leave her there in his office for today. And next time we will pick up with Alice's plans. So that's our story for today. See you next time.